Good evening. My name is Heather Fleming, and I am co-president of the League of Women Voters of Glen Ellen. Thank you for joining us for this Illinois House of Representatives District 42 Forum for the Democratic candidates. In this Democratic primary, there are two candidates on the ballot, Margaret De La Rosa and Lynn LaPlante. Registered Democratic voters will cast a vote for one of these candidates in the March 17 primary election. There is no contested race for the Republican candidates for Illinois House of Representatives District 42, Stephanie Trussell. As a result, the aforementioned race will not be featured in a forum. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We encourage the informed and active participation of citizens in government. The League works to increase understanding of the major public policy issues and influences public policy through education and advocacy. Today, we are pleased to host this voter information event. It is our first candidate forum for the primary election. The format is virtual. We ask that candidates and viewers eliminate distractions and give the forum their undivided attention as they would for an in-person event. Our moderator this evening is Barb Lamons. Barb joined the League of Women Voters of Wheaton in 2014. She is a past League president and has served as voter service chair and on the Civic Education Committee. A former civics and psychology teacher, Barb is a past co-chair of the League of Women Voters of Illinois Task Force on Mis- and Disinformation and is on the planning board for the League of Women Voters National Institute for Civic Discourse. Barb lives in West Chicago.
Thank you, Heather. And good evening to everyone. It's an honor for me to introduce tonight's candidate forum. I would like to begin by reviewing some of the league ground rules for candidate forums. All candidates have signed and returned the ground rules. These rules specify the format, time limits, and other rules related to the conduct of the forum, and I will be responsible for enforcing these rules. The candidates will begin in alphabetical order with their opening statements. They will alternate the order in which they answer questions, and after the question portion of the forum, each candidate will give a closing statement. Each candidate will be given 1.5 minutes for their opening statement, 1.5 minutes to respond to each question, and 1.5 minutes to make a closing statement. Their responses will be timed, as you will see on the screen. The questions have been gathered in advance from the public. A panel of experienced members of the League of Women Voters have reviewed the questions submitted and carefully screened questions for appropriateness for the office and to avoid duplication for tonight's event. The event tonight is being recorded, and the League claims copyright ownership of any recording or transcript produced of the forum. The forum will be posted in its entirety on the League's website, social media platforms, and vote411.org. Any other use of forum recording requires the express approval of the League. Audio and video must be broadcast unedited and in its entirety except by the media reporting on the forum. Finally, I would like to emphasize how grateful we are for these candidates who are not only willing to serve in office, but who have agreed to be here tonight. Candidates, I'd like to welcome you to the screen. Please start your video and unmute yourselves. Welcome. Tonight's we'll begin our opening statements with candidate De La Rosa. Candidate De La Rosa, you have 1.5 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you. Thank you to the League for hosting this forum. I'm Margaret De La Rosa, a longtime DuPage resident and proven local leader. I was proud to be appointed state representative of House District 42, and now I'm running to earn your vote so that together we can continue to fight for our shared values, including strong and safe public schools, affordability, and a government that works for everyone. I've shown up for our community and done the work for decades. I earned my degree in accounting from DePaul, and I bring a career built on fiscal management, careful analysis, and collaboration. I've raised 3 children in the district, all graduates of our public schools. I've served as president of the League of Women Voters, a leader with Indivisible DuPage, issued canvass to remove Peter Roskam from office, coordinated the largest live candidate forum between Peter Roskam and then challenger Tammy Duckworth. These actions and leadership roles helped turn DuPage blue. I have been elected 4 times to the Glenbard District 87 board, serving the board as board president for the last 3 years, where we have managed a budget in excess of $170 million. Voters have chosen me again and again because I listen, build consensus, put in the work, and most importantly, get results. I'm proud to have the endorsement of 23 local elected officials. I will fight for our shared values, and I hope to earn your vote in the March 17th primary. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate La Rosa. Candidate LaPlante, you have 1.5 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you, League of Women Voters of Glen Ellen, for hosting this event and for educating the voters. This is an invaluable service, and it's been helpful for so many years and so many campaigns. I am currently serving in my 3rd term on the DuPage County Board, and I'm running for my 5th consecutive term as an elected Democratic Precinct Committee person. By profession, I'm a concert violinist and violist, and I live in Glen Ellen with my husband, Mike, and our 4 children. These are serious times, and we need a serious candidate who can meet this unique moment in our country's history. I have a bold voice that I will use to protect working families. I have steel in my spine so I can stand up for the least among us. I have integrity and a strong, innate sense of justice. I have run and won 6 contested Democratic races in this district already. Voters have seen my name on every single Democratic ballot since 2018. As a lifelong loyal Democrat, I was selected for the best political training in the country for pro-choice women, Illinois Women's Institute of Leadership, also called I WILL. I'm a proud union member with a history of championing labor. I'm the only candidate in the entire state who received the endorsement of the Illinois AFL-CIO over a sitting member of the state legislature. This shows their faith in me and my ability to lead, as well as my understanding of the principles and values of labor, which are the same as our democratic principles and values. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, the first question will begin with you, and it's rather long, so if you need me to repeat it, please feel free to say. House Bill 1312 introduced state-level protections for immigrants, such as banning immigration arrests near courthouses, hospitals, schools, and daycares, and allowing civil lawsuits against agents violating rights. Do you support these protections? And second part, is there a role for state government in immigration issues? And you have 1.5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. That was a long question, but I think I've got it. So, of course, yes, I support all of those initiatives. That's absolutely vital. We have to protect our immigrant communities. They deserve the same protections as every single community here. They are our community. They are our people. We have to do everything we can to push back against ICE. One of the endorsements that I am so proud to have received is the Illinois Coalition of Immigrant and Refugee Rights. That is the organization that's fighting the hardest against ICE. And they are doing everything in their power to advocate for the people who are being absolutely victimized and traumatized by ICE. And yes, I absolutely believe that at the state level, we can legislate better in order to protect these communities. That's what we just have to make that our priority, because these are, like I said earlier, very unprecedented times. So we're going to have to adapt very quickly. We're going to have to be ahead of the ball. We cannot be reactive. We have to be proactive, and we have to make sure by listening, by asking what these constituents and these members of the immigrant communities need, and we have to stand up for them. This democracy is really hanging in the balance here. We are not seeing due process. We are seeing people kidnapped. We're seeing people killed on the streets. We absolutely have to do everything within our power to fight back. And I promise I will do that down in Springfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate De La Rosa, let me repeat I'll repeat the question for you.
Yes, can I ask you to repeat the question, please?
House Bill 1312 introduced state-level protections for immigrants, such as banning immigration arrests near courthouses, hospitals, schools, and daycares, and allowing civil lawsuits against agents violating rights. Do you support these protections? Is there a role, the second part, is there a role for state government in immigration issues?
Well, let's start with the bill itself. I was fortunate to be in the House at the time when this bill was crafted. As a member of the Latino caucus, I was part of the group that actually put the language around the bill and worked collaboratively with my House colleagues to put this language together. So, of course, I support the bill, and I do think there's a role. This is the moment where we have federal overreach. This is the moment that we are faced with, and our priority is to protect Illinois residents. It is going to become the overwhelming priority as we move forward. This bill, by the way, was used recently in a congressional hearing by Renee Good's attorney and referred to as a leading bill in this space that will give remedies to victims of federal overreach. So yes, I do support it. And yes, I do think there is a role for state government in protecting its residents.
Thank you. Candidate De La Rosa, what do you see as the most pressing environmental issue facing our state, and what are your plans to address it?
Well, I think probably the most pressing issue, there's probably two pressing issues. One, we see the rollback of climate and climate legislation at the federal level. That takes away some protections. I think the other overwhelmingly issue is on data centers, and everyone is very concerned about what the impacts will be to our water and our electrical grid. Again, I voted for the energy bill, which actually is holding off some of the rapid increase of rates. But also, I'm working on a bill currently right now where it puts a framework around data centers and how they would come into the state. So just briefly, a little bit of information about the bill. It basically gives a framework where people who are coming into the space to develop these centers would have to bring their own energy source, and that energy source would be renewables. So it would be geothermal, solar, and wind. This is, I think, the issue of our time, and I think Illinois House is leading in terms of bringing this to the session. And then that started a month ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, what do you see as the most pressing environmental issue facing our state, and what are your plans to address it?
So definitely climate change, that has to be addressed. That is that's sort of the comet that's headed toward us right now that we're all watching. So we have to do everything in our power at the state level to make up for all of the decimations and cuts that happened at the federal level. I have been serving on the environmental committee for the DuPage County Board since 2020, and I'm often pushing us to do more because I do think that we have to make this a priority. To that end, I push to make sure that the environmental responsibility for sustainability and environmental practices was focused on the people who are doing business in DuPage County and making money in DuPage County instead of just on the consumer. So we have to really zoom out and make sure that we are addressing this from a very holistic standpoint. So I've already been doing that since 2020, and I will continue to do that down in Springfield. In terms of what's affecting us in Illinois right now, definitely we need to talk about data centers. How close can they be to neighborhoods? Do you want your house built, do you want a data center built right near your neighborhood? And how are we going to make sure that we are getting from them the right results that we need in terms of making sure that this is a sustainable practice? I think that we have to pick up the lead from the federal level, and we're going to have to do it at the state level. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, the next question. Do you believe Illinois voting systems are both safe and secure and accessible?
I do. I think that we have done a really great job in Illinois of making voting accessible and safe and fair for our voters. In DuPage County, now that we have Vote Anywhere, that's very, very helpful. That's so you don't have to go to just your particular polling place. You can go anywhere and at your own pace, right? We have such extended voting, early voting starting almost a month ahead of time. Vote by mail has been wonderful. And the way that you can track your electronic ballot, your vote by mail ballot, that's fantastic. So you can make sure not only have you filled it out and mailed it, but then you can track it all the way and make sure that it has been counted. So those are all wonderful ways that we have protected the everyone's right to vote in Illinois, and we have to protect it. There have been lots of threats, lots of noise that have been coming from the Trump administration about trying to suppress votes. We have to fight back with every single thing in our power against that. We cannot allow women to be disenfranchised. We cannot allow anyone from a minority community to be disenfranchised. So we're going to have to stand up and fight to make sure that our voting rights are always protected. And absolutely, we cannot have ICE standing out in front of the polls threatening people, which is what people have also been talking about. We have to make sure that it's a safe process, accessible, and easy. This is something that should be every single person's right. Thank you.
Thank you. And candidate De La Rosa, the same question. Do you believe the Illinois voting systems are safe, secure, and accessible?
Yes, I believe voting is safe, secure, and accessible. But could it be better reinforced? Yes. Should we be thinking of what the possibilities are, especially when Minneapolis or Minnesota was asked for its voting rolls, and we saw what happened in Fulton County in Georgia? I think we need to prepare for those situations. And just like in schools, we always need to prepare for those situations that we don't want to have occur, but may occur. And we have to be ready with what our plan of action is going to be. We have seen the federal administration offer money or ask for money to protect someone's voting rolls. And so I think we have seen an example of it. And just like any other part of the federal administration, when you've seen it somewhere else, it's probably coming to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate De La Rosa, how should the Illinois legislature address transportation issues that affect the Chicago, the collar counties, and downstate counties?
Well, I was part of it also in veto session. I voted on the transit bill. A lot of discussion on that bill, but what it really did was restore transit and bring the three transit organizations together under one umbrella organization, and distributed the boards so that boards were made up of three different political arms, so that the various groups can have full representation. Every dollar spent in transit brings $4 of economic opportunity. And so I think that commitment to transit was the right thing to do. And what we hope to see out of the NETA board will be the expansion of transit to areas and connections between lines that we do not have today.
Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, the same question. How should the Illinois legislature address transportation issues that affect Chicago, the collar counties, and downstate counties?
So I look at this as a multi-pronged approach. So making sure that we fully fund transit is absolutely addressing environmental issues. It is addressing equity, making sure that everyone has access to public transportation. And it really specifically helps working families. We need to fully fund, and I'm so glad that transit bill passed, because that was vital. And in terms of how it impacts the city, Chicago, the collar counties, and downstate, everyone has different transit needs, right? But we use this. We use the trains to commute downtown. People reverse commute to come out here to work. We have to make sure that we have a fully functioning transit system. When you travel internationally and you see the way that other countries have their public transit systems so well run, so smooth, so frequent, we really are behind. And so I want us to make sure that we push to make sure that we have the greatest access to a full transit system that is funded, is equitable, it's good for the environment, and it really helps working families get to their jobs. So I'm a huge fan, and I'm so glad that that bill passed.
Thank you. We're going to shift gears a little bit here. Candidate LaPlante, what, if anything, should Illinois do to assure access to affordable health care?
Anything we possibly can do. We really, this is a huge problem for most families. As the parent of someone with a medical disability, this healthcare is something that is on our mind on a daily basis. I'm a parent of someone with type 1 diabetes, so affordable insulin is something that we talk about and live with every single day. We have to make sure that we are well insured. And I'm noticing that so many people that are underinsured, not even that they don't have insurance, they're just a little underinsured, they're unable to afford the medications that they need. Or God forbid, when they have a medical emergency or an illness, they are bankrupt. No other country in the world is living like this. I'm not sure why we are so behind, but we have to address this and we have to fix it. I believe in Medicaid for all, Medicare for all, so we have to push to make sure that everyone has access to healthcare. This is a human right. This is not a privilege. This should not be based on your bank account. This should be every single person has access to high quality healthcare, and we shouldn't live in fear of having something happen that will bankrupt your entire family. So I will do anything that I can at the state level to make sure that the citizens of Illinois have the proper healthcare that they deserve as a human right.
Thank you. Candidate De La Rosa, what, if anything,
Well,
should Illinois do to assure access to affordable health care?
This is continues to be an issue of affordability. And again, we have the overreach of the federal government removing money that was appropriated to us for support of expanded Medicare or Medicaid, for healthcare subsidy. And I think what we're going to have to do is take this as a signal that we're going to have to move things around in the budget to begin to close the gaps in these areas where we're missing this funding from the federal government until we can work it through the courts to go back to the federal government to distribute those funds. I think Lynn brought up a great point. When you have someone that's sick in your house or has a chronic illness, these are not things that we can just, put on the back burner. Families need to have this support. And, with the subsidies for ACA going away at the state level, we are going to have to shore that up, just like we had to shore up SNAP benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate De La Rosa, some states have been redistricting recently. What is your position on redistricting in Illinois and current fair map proposals?
Well, as someone who has collected signatures twice for fair maps, I'm going to say this. We can have fair maps in Illinois when we have fair maps around the country, because they will never be fair just in one place. They have to be fair consistently. And we as league members have seen the various ways in which maps can be fair, but it has to be consistent across the country. Thank you.
Candidate LaPlante, the same question.
Would you mind repeating that for me, please?
No problem. Some states have been redistricting recently. What is your position on redistricting in Illinois and some of the recent fair maps proposals?
So when there's redistricting, we've all seen those crazy districts that are, in the most bizarre shape. And Illinois has some of those districts, and sometimes they're often used as sort of the example of what redistricting looks like that favors one demographic over another. So I see this as a matter of equity. We have to make sure that everyone is getting proper representation. And so if you're cutting up the maps and redistricting to favor one demographic over another, I don't agree with that at all. In terms of making sure, we've had to do this on the county board, we've had to take votes when we redrew the maps in DuPage County. And that's something that we have to be transparent with, above board, and fair. We've got to stop this, shutting people out and disenfranchising voters because we want to get something better drawn maps. And I've seen candidates that have been drawn out of their districts for political purposes. That's got to stop. So I definitely am for fair and equitable and transparent approaches to redistricting. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, are there steps you think Illinois should take to affect the economy, employment, and a positive environment for business?
Well, of course. I mean, we always have to try different ways to grow the economy. Something that I'm really fascinated with is the creative economy because of my background in the arts. The creative economy brings in more, adds more to the national GDP than construction. This is a huge benefit to our local economy, our state economy, and our national economy. I think Governor Pritzker has done a really fantastic job growing the creative economy in Illinois, and I'm going to do everything I can as a subject matter expert in the arts to continue that and to push for that. So there's something that I feel very strongly about in terms of economic development, and that is the intersection that you can find with the arts, with public health, with the community development. When you have better options for businesses and for people to be more successful in Illinois, that benefits everyone. A rising tide absolutely lifts all boats in this situation. So I really do love the concept of the creative economy and how we can keep growing that, create jobs, make sure that we are not outsourcing them, make sure that they are union jobs. We create jobs and we keep them here. We have to make sure that businesses are happy being in Illinois and will continue to do business in Illinois. Thanks.
And Candidate De La Rosa, are there steps you think Illinois should take to affect the economy, employment, and positive environment for businesses?
Of course, I have to be an advocate for economic development, simply from a revenue standpoint. But I think my approach would be I will be an advocate for DuPage managers and mayors, a large advocacy organization who is really proximate to the development issues and economic opportunities in their particular municipalities, as well as the DuPage events group. These are all opportunities that we'll have. And if I can play a role in helping them, I will be using them as my guidance in how I can support them. But they are really the people that really have knowledge in this area. And I look forward to collaborating with them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate De La Rosa, should Illinois be taking any actions related to AI and regulation?
Absolutely. Again, we are being challenged by the federal government. As everyone has probably heard on some news clip, the president has decided that states shouldn't have any say in AI and the development of AI and the impact it's going to have on our society. But here is an issue of states' rights versus the federal government. And absolutely, we should have a say in how it's used, certainly around our privacy. And so, I look forward to that. There are several House members who are carrying bills on those very subjects. Thank you.
Okay. And Candidate LaPlante, should Illinois be taking any actions related to AI?
Yes, absolutely. We can regulate at the state level, and we absolutely need to. Something that we have to really pay attention to is the surge pricing that happens through AI when they're collecting your data. And they will, like if you're trying to get an Uber and they will notice that your cell phone battery is low, they will surge pricing. Things like Instacart, they will look at your information that they have collected and your data, and they will adjust pricing accordingly. That has to stop. That is definitely negative with AI. Also, the intersection of AI and education. We have to really make sure that our children are learning and learning critical thinking skills, which is not always going hand in hand with AI. So I definitely think we need to listen to our teachers, our educators in our schools and our universities about how best to educate kids and students with AI in the classroom as a tool, but not substitution for education. So that's something huge. And then the other thing is sometimes AI is getting in the way of actual, real human interactions. And we have to make sure that that is not how we are going to be communicating with each other. Nothing can replicate human interaction with one another. We're still coming out of our COVID slump of everyone sort of, sequestering, obviously, because we had to. And I think at the timing, coming out of COVID, having AI burst onto the scene, it's not fantastic for everyone's mental health. So we have to be careful of that too.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, what is your position on the Safety Act and any changes you think are necessary to ensure both public safety and fairness in the justice system?
Well, I'm really, really happy that we have the Safety Act and that it passed. Anytime we pass new legislation like this, especially something that is so new and such a different approach, we're going to have kinks that have to be worked out. And I know that they've gone back to the drawing board, they've made adjustments, and we're still working on that, which is fantastic. But yes, I support the Safety Act. And can you please say the second part of that question again? Because I answered the first part, but.
Are there any changes you think are necessary to ensure both public safety and fairness in the justice system?
Thank you. So we have to make sure, of course, to protect our communities, and we have to support our police departments as they do that. But we also hold them responsible, and we have to make it easier for them to do their job. That we can't ask for them to be doing law enforcement and also mental health, caring for people like that. We have to assign social workers to the police force. So that they have an easier way of helping their constituents. I'm a firm believer in restorative justice. I work very closely and have started some restorative justice programs over at the DuPage County Jail. So I talk with them a lot, and I work with law enforcement a lot, and I try to support them, make sure they are safe, but make sure our constituents are safe. So I support the Safety Act. If we have to tweak some things, then we do that. That's what learning is, and that's what you do when you have new legislation. Thanks.
Thank you. And Candidate De La Rosa,
Simon.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and resign.
No, if you're fine, that's fine.
I'm an advocate for the Safety Act. I remember when this approach started in California and hearing a program about it. And I remember Tom Dart from Cook County saying, Cook County Jail is is a place where, people come and they're really in more need of mental health counseling. They're getting the worst time in their lives. Right. And so there's no point in keeping people who otherwise need to work in jail and making money an issue that keeping them in jail. Not everyone has the $500 or so to get themselves bailed out. So I definitely, am an advocate for it. There are situations where it has come up, right? And these are the sensational situations. We just recently had a terrible, perpetration of a person on transit recently, and that was in the news. And of course, it comes back that this is the wrong thing. We're putting a lot of weight, in a judge to have the proper information before them so that they can decide whether or not they're going to hold someone. But I think overall, the concept of not making someone, keeping someone incarcerated for the want of money is the absolute right approach. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was our last question for tonight. And so, candidates, I would like to give you an opportunity now for your closing statements. And Candidate De La Rosa, we'll have you go first for 1.5 minutes.
Okay. This Democratic primary is about who will best advance our values and deliver progress. I respect anyone who steps forward to serve. Where I differ from my opponent is in 3 areas. Approach. I believe in collaborative leadership, fiscal discipline, and delivering results. Experience. I've managed teams of people, many who didn't report to me, and with large budgets, and delivered projects on time and on budget. Character, I build relationships. I've earned the respect of leaders like the chair of the House Latino Caucus. I've earned the endorsement of 23 local elected officials like Congressman Sean Casten and State Senator Ellman. I have been endorsed by strong advocacy groups like Personal PAC and Equality Illinois. I'm Margaret De La Rosa, your incumbent state representative, and I have been working in community, leading our schools for the past 10 years. I am already working in Springfield for you. As an Illinois native with deep family history and a proven record of civic leadership, I have fought for our values, our communities, and our schools. As your state representative, I am working every day to address the needs of the 42nd District, such as providing protections for Illinois residents and funding our schools and our agencies. You can find out more about me at delarosaforillinois.com. And if you want to see me in action, go to the Glenbard District 87 site where we record our meetings. I am proud of my record and accomplishments. I am the best choice to tackle the issues facing District 42, and I ask for your vote on March 17th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate LaPlante, your closing statement, please.
Thank you. So our country is at an extremely perilous crossroad. These are serious times, and we need the most serious candidate who can meet this unique moment in our country's history. We cannot afford to lose this state representative seat to a MAGA Republican under this current regime. We need a contender with a strong record of winning Democratic elections, a contender who voters already know and trust, a contender who is ready to fight and meet the moment, and a contender who is up to the hard task of running a hard campaign and winning. For over 20 years, I have been deeply embedded in my community, serving on several boards and committees throughout this district. My reputation in the community among voters, nonprofit partners, and my neighbors is unmatched. As a lifelong loyal Democrat, I was honored to be selected to receive the best political training available in the country for pro-choice women through the Illinois Women's Institute of Leadership. I've been fighting for women's reproductive rights, equity for all, gun sense legislation, the environment, and peace and justice for decades. This primary election is our chance as voters to move our party in a different direction, one that actually fights back against Trump, one that will stand up to ICE, one that will vote to repeal bills that violate our First Amendment rights, one that will listen to the most vulnerable members of our community and represent them. I ask for your vote in this primary election with the promise that I will move our party forward and not continue with this politics as usual approach, which is clearly not working for most people. A vote for me, Lynn LaPlante, is a vote for a new approach to governing in the Illinois Democratic Party. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for taking time to be here with us tonight. And you're free now to turn off your videos and get back to work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because
Thank you.
our time, thank you and good night. Our time is up for this evening's forum. Thank you all for watching, and we appreciate the participation, whether you're a candidate or voter. For 100% nonpartisan election information, please go to vote411.org, powered by the League of Women Voters, and visit the Glen Ellen League website, lwvge.org, where you can also find a recording of other local candidate forums. Please remember to vote. It's essential to our freedom and our country. Thank you, and good. And I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Heather.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our candidates and to everyone who attended tonight. Links for this forum and other League of Women Voters of Glen Ellen forums, including the U.S. Congressional District 6 Democratic Forum, Illinois House 42 Democratic Forum, which you just attended, and the DuPage County Board District 4 four-year term, which is coming, so stick around if you'd like to see that. Will be posted on our website at lwvge.org and also on the vote411.org. Videos for candidate forums held by the Elmhurst League of Women Voters for the DuPage County Sheriff and DuPage County Clerk are also available on our website. Thank you.